Hi, it's Ramble and this is another monthly challenge. In this monthly challenge I've been teaching my cat a trick and his name is Miguel, and now he's finally sitting down on my lap because I've done this intro so many times. I tried to teach him to jump through my arms and surprisingly it went better than I thought. But before we get into too much detail, I will tell you what my next monthly challenge is. In my next monthly challenge, I want to try to make my left hand a more dominant hand because I am right-handed, and I've read that if you are dominant in both hands or both sides of your body, it has a few benefits. So why don't you join me? If you're left-handed, try to be more dominant in your right hand, and if you're right-handed, try to be more dominant on your left hand. So the idea of teaching my cat a trick came from a video I saw. Hello, kitty. In that video, they would hold out their arms like a circle and their cat would jump through, and they also could do it with multiple people, which I haven't tested with him. I didn't get that far, but I will show you what he can do at the end of this video. If you don't know, I have 3 cats and I thought I would choose the intelligent one. This is not the intelligent one. My intelligent one, however, wasn't very fixated on the treats, so he technically didn't understand the first step of going over my arm, and I couldn't lure him with treats because he wasn't interested in them. So I went over to this cat who he loves treats. He's extremely fixated on food. The first session with him went really well. He would just follow the treats over my arms. The second session, he thought I was trolling him, and I would put the treat in front of his nose and pull it a bit further so he wouldn't bite it, and he'd eventually get too lazy or think it's a trick that he just stopped completely. And on the second session I was like, oh, I hope this cat will learn it because I have a third cat, but he's not extremely fixated on food and he can get a bit antsy. So he quite quickly got the hang of the trick itself. We couldn't really get to the next step where he would really run into it like you can see in the videos, but I guess that is a time span of more than a month. Eventually there came a point where he would only go over my arm if I turned him around, so I had to take him back to the basics and teach him that he has to follow the treat back to over the arm. But that went pretty well actually. He seemed to understand what I wanted from him, and this challenge was as much fun as the challenge was with my dog when I teach my dog a trick. However, I think the results are more impressive than when I taught my dog a trick. In the end, he started loving me more because he got treats from me on a regular basis. At the end of the day, he would want to go in my room because at the beginning we trained in my room. I eventually moved it around the house so he wouldn't just learn the trick based on the room he was in, and actually learn the trick conditionally of just what I'm teaching him. He felt pretty special because he got some special treatment or more attention than the others. But apart from that, it was really fun to teach him. I was surprised that he learned it and that he learned quite quickly. But he jumped pretty high, which is good. So at the beginning he would be quite lazy and just walk over my arm, and eventually walk over my arm in such a lazy manner that he wouldn't even step over my arm. He would just stand on my arm, which is like the ultimate laziness. However, afterwards he would start to hop over it. He would sometimes still walk over the arms, but it did get better over time. If I set him like this and then put my arm here, he will jump over it like he's supposed to. The thing is, I wanted to train him to get used to not jumping over my arm because I set him in front of my arm. I want him to follow the tree, and eventually he will learn that when I make the circle or when I put my arm in this manner, that he will jump over it like that. That was a good example. That he would eventually only follow my finger and not follow the tree. But he's getting better. You can see that he's now already improved. He's getting back into the training that we've been doing, and he will just jump over my arm eventually when he sees it. Miel. Good, my miel. Good boy. And not like the dog video, he actually does do the trick that he's learned, because my dog, when I tried to film him doing the trick that she learned, she wouldn't do it, and now he's doing exactly what we trained for, which is great because you can see the actual results. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any suggestions on other monthly challenges, leave them in the comments below, and I would be happy to read all your suggestions and see which ones I can implement. Give this video a thumbs up or subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye!